Hey, what's up, guys? We are at Bada Beach, right across from our apartment. It's only about like a 3-minute walk. We're just like one block back. And we came here, rented a couple of chairs and an umbrella. It was about $8. Pretty sure that was the gringo price, but whatever. It's still a pretty good price. We can sit here as long as we want. And it's early afternoon, about 11:30. And we are enjoying our last couple of days here on the beach of Salvador Bahia before we head back to Rio for one more week. And then from Rio, we head to Florianopolis for 1 month. So I just want to give a quick recap of my experience or our experiences here in Salvador and like what we think of the city, especially in comparison to Rio de Janeiro. So as you guys probably know, Salvador is famous for having the highest percentage of black African population at about 85% or so. Even though there are more African descendants in Rio and definitely Sao Paulo, percentage-wise, it's way more here. And that was definitely one of the most important reasons why I wanted to come, because I've heard about this place for many years, and when I was in Brazil in the past, I never had a chance to go. So I'm excited to finally have been able to visit here. And we've enjoyed it. We've spent the first couple of days just kind of touring around the city, around Pelourinho, visiting a very beautiful old colonial central area, trying some of the local cuisine. We went to a very famous restaurant called Dona Susana, which was on Netflix, where Olivia tried the muñeca, which has shrimp, fish, coconut milk, and some other spices. And since I don't eat seafood, this place is very seafood heavy. I just try it like this sun-dried meat. I think it's called carne de seco, I believe. But yeah, so far our experiences here have been really good, even though we've been unlucky with terms of like weather. It's been raining pretty much every day that we've been here for the past week, except for the first day we got here. It was good, and then a couple times it was good during the day, then it would kind of start raining towards end of the day or midday or something like that. It may stop and come back, kind of just depends. So now we finally have a full day where it's going to be sunny, it seems like. So we definitely wanted to make sure that we went to the beach and enjoyed that, because yesterday it rained the entire day and really, really hard. So we didn't even get a chance to even come outside. So I'm happy we finally got an opportunity to do that. So let's see, where can we start? So I guess in terms of like cost of living. So Salvador is going to be a lot cheaper than Rio and Sao Paulo. In terms of like my Airbnb, so Airbnb for the month in Rio cost me about, and I negotiate a little bit down, but it was about maybe $1,300. It was a very modern Airbnb in Copacabana, 1 bedroom, no view, but we did have a high floor. Here we have similar sized apartments, very modern, but beautiful ocean views, and we have a pretty nice sized balcony as well. So if we would have got this same place for the month, it would have been about, I want to say like $1,800. So can't justify that in terms of monthly costs just because there's a beach view and a balcony. So it's a little bit more expensive. And you got to remember too, like in Rio and especially Salvador, a lot of places are very old, especially here more so. There's a lot of old architecture and real estate. So there's no opportunity to really find too many new modern places here in Salvador. And when you do, you're definitely going to pay a premium. Even just looking out of our window, I would say probably like 30-40% of the buildings are more on the newer modern end versus other ones that are a lot older. It kind of looks like Havana, Cuba. When I've seen the videos online, people visit there, like very old buildings. So you see a lot of that kind of surrounding the new school buildings. In terms of like food and everything, grocery shopping is probably a little bit cheaper maybe, but not a huge difference where I can notice. Food at restaurants, it's kind of hard to kind of compare because it depends on where you go, but I would say overall it is a little bit, I would say like maybe 10% or so cheaper than what we pay in Rio. Even when we ate like in Pelourinho, it cost me $40. There was an all-you-can-eat buffet. They had seafood and everything, and we had a couple drinks. So that was reasonably priced. I feel like if that was Rio, that probably would have been easily 75, 80 bucks in that situation. Just because of, you know, the tourist location like in Copacabana, Ipanema is very expensive for food there. Transportation, we've only taken Ubers in both locations. I don't really take the bus or subway or anything like that. There's no subway here, but there are buses here. But we only took Ubers, and they're fairly cheap as well. I would say pretty comparable to Rio, maybe a little bit cheaper. But you can get around and get from like where we are to the city center, which is about 12 minutes away, and it would cost you like $4 or $5 or something like that. So very reasonably priced, especially compared to the United States. The food here, so since I don't eat seafood, it's kind of hard for me to really compare Rio with Salvador, but from what I hear from other people who are seafood lovers, my wife included, people do enjoy the food here better. There's a lot of more traditional African influenced dishes that are very popular here, like the muniaco or the akadaje. They also famous here for the famous bean stew. I can't think of the name of the dish off the top of my head right now. The fashwaya. So they're pretty famous for that as well. I think there's a couple of other famous dishes here, seafood related. So if you're into seafood, there probably definitely is a better place for you. But if you're not, and you're more of like a normal meat eater or chicken eater or something like that, then I probably would have to go with Rio. It seems like they have a lot more options for those other options outside of seafood. The people here, I would say also extremely friendly, very nice, but Rio is as well. So I would say it's pretty similar. And for Rio to be like a larger city and to have people who are very nice and welcoming and willing to help you, I think goes a long way. There's a lot of big cities that you go to, you don't really have people as friendly as you do in smaller towns across the globe. That's just how it is in general. But you get a very warm, welcoming vibe from all the people here. Being on a beach here in Bata, even though it's a smaller beach, and there's not that many people out here, we have been approached by like a lot of vendors. Like every couple minutes somebody's walking past selling something. One thing that I did enjoy, like when we were in the beach in Leblon, that people are selling things, but no one comes and stops in front of your chair and asks you if you want to buy anything. They just yell out what they're selling and they kind of just go about their way. Where people here kind of come like in your face and they're trying to sell you something, so a little bit different. But no one's like overly pushy or anything like that, which is great. But yeah, in general, we're just enjoying our time here. I have to say that it's definitely a little bit different than what I pictured and imagined. I did see one YouTuber mention, I thought was kind of funny, that just from what he'd heard from coming to about Salvador when he was coming here, he was more so expecting Salvador to be more so kind of like Atlanta. It's like a black Mecca versus it kind of being more like a Baltimore, and that's just because it's more old school, and you see a lot. It needs to be a lot more development within this city in terms of infrastructure and buildings and stuff like that, architecture. So it's definitely get more of like an older school vibe, where a lot of buildings are here from like the 1500s. Rio's an old school city too, but at the same time, you have more modern buildings and more of a modern feel in terms of infrastructure there than you do here. And you see a lot more favelas here in Salvador Bahia than you do in Rio. I know there's a lot more in Rio, but just in terms of just like when you're driving, they're just like all over the place, more than you see like normal apartment buildings. So that's one thing that we noticed straight off the bat. Even just driving in from the airport to Bata, which is about a 35-40 minute drive, there's just tons of favelas all over. So I'm surprised, because I would think since this is the most visited location or city in Brazil, that they would have maybe built the city up a little bit more for tourism, but maybe just not yet. But it is also cool to see some of the older buildings of architecture, but it's just that some of them are just not really maintained and they're vacant. So you see like a lot of older like vacant buildings here. It's not being put to any use. So that's just one thing that we've noticed. But still a beautiful city. The beaches here are beautiful, amazing, great views, especially over here towards the Cristo statue over there. You get really good views of like the city, panoramic views, and of the ocean and everything. And it's just way more chill and relaxed and tranquil here, where Rio's like obviously more of a hustle and bustle, go type of vibe, especially Copacabana. Like it's crazy 24/7 I feel there. We're here, like I went out last night a little bit to get some groceries around like 8 o'clock, 8:30, and it was completely dead. Like a lot of places were closed, shut down. It's just very relaxed. So it's definitely a place you can go to if you want to get away from like a big city and just be out of just like constant traffic and loud noise. You definitely don't have that issue here at all. So that's one good thing about Salvador that I like, that we get a little bit of a break from the big city vibe. But yeah, we spent 7 days here. We will be spending 7 days in total. This is our 5th day, and we head back in a couple days. And I'm glad that we got a chance to kind of see all the tourist attractions that we wanted to see. If you guys haven't seen that video, make sure you take a look. I did like the top things to do and see in Salvador Bahia. But yeah, overall, I'll still give it 5 stars. It's a great city to come visit and check out, whether you want to stay here for a few days or if you want to stay here for the month. I think either way you can't miss it. But I think you want to give yourself at least a week in order to really get a chance to see the city, try the different foods and restaurants. There's tons of things online about Salvador Bahia, whether there's YouTube or like food travel shows like on Netflix. So there's a lot of options here, and I bookmarked quite a few places. And we did get a chance to meet with like a local person who was from Salvador in Rio, who sent us quite a few places to eat and check out while we're here. So we pretty much tried all of those places except for one, which I plan on trying today or maybe tomorrow for lunch. But yeah, everything has been great so far. We've enjoyed our time here, and I would not have mind staying here for a month. I kind of regret it that I didn't stay in Salvador, coming from Argentina, staying in Salvador for a month, in addition to Rio and Florianopolis, and did a total of 90 days here instead of doing 60 or 70 days here. But you live and you learn. I definitely will come back, and I'm definitely interested in trying other cities that are nearby that are just as beautiful and have very nice beaches. There's also like tons of islands that's close by, I heard as well, that are pretty famous. So it'd be good to kind of check those out if we have more time. And if we were here for a month, we would have that time to kind of do so. But since we are pressed, we won't have the opportunity to, but we, so far, everything that we have seen, we have enjoyed, and we love being here. And it feels good to kind of be around a bunch of people that look like you and have the same experience as you, being African American. We have the same exact story, just speak 2 different languages. But other than that, yeah, it's pretty much identical. But it's gonna wrap it up for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed. Please check out some of our other videos in Brazil or other countries that we have been to in Latin America so far. We're planning, as our last country in Latin America, as of now, is Colombia. We'll be there for like 5 months. But I'm thinking about adding on Bolivia towards the end and travel through Bolivia for a month, because you only can stay in that country with a visa for like 30 days. And there's a lot to see there. So still waiting to see what happens. You never know. We can always kind of change our plans midway through. So we'll just see. But yeah, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll catch you guys in the next one.